Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, we'll be trying out the Ramp of Truth for the first time. We'll pit rim oil against Ballistol. Which one is slipperier? Stay tuned. So first thing I need to do is to clean the Ramp of Truth. Now what I did was, I've already run some simple green up and down the ramp and on the shuttle, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do. Basically damp a paper towel with simple green, which again is an outstanding degreaser that doesn't destroy your hands. It does a really good job of doing what it needs to do. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of gunsmiths that swear by this stuff for just everyday degreasing of parts, gun parts. Just keep in mind that when you do degrease with simple green, you better put a coat of oil when you're done, or it'll leave your metal with no protection, and then you'll get a lot of rust. And I've showed that on the Plate of Truth. Now I'm also going to do the bottom of the shuttle really good. And then I'm going to take a dry paper towel and run it up and down and get it really clean until it's squeaky. And what I mean by squeaky is you'll hear it pull like that. Hear that? You know there's no oil on there when it's doing that. Okay? Make sure I get under here real good. And you can hear it. Okay? I want to show you how I'm doing this, the procedure that I'm following. Alright, so now let's do a dry test. And that's set to 0. Let's see what kind of time we're getting. And I got 1.79. Go ahead and bring this up there. Reset it. 1.72. And that one didn't set it off. 1.75. So you can see how slow it is with nothing on it. So next, we'll go ahead and put some Ballistol. And the way I'm going to do this, and this is from practicing, if I just lop oil all over this thing and try it, it's going to be slower. Now, the way that I have to test this is I take a piece of cloth, we'll put the Ballistol all over the bottom of the shuttle and all over the ramp. Okay, so it's on nice and thick. Alright. Now just to show you how much slower it actually is, I'm going to demonstrate to you what happens. Alright, I'll go ahead and reset. Here we go. See what happens? It just gets stuck. It doesn't really want to go. And it's just too thick. So my next procedure is to take a dry cloth and then wipe off all the excess, so there's only a very, very thin film left. No, it's not a cloth, it's a paper towel, I'm sorry. Alright. So now what you have is a very, very thin coat. And you can see it's going to want to go now. So, let's see what we got. I'm going to need to grab a piece of paper so we can record some of these times. Go ahead and put this here. I'm not blocking your view. Let's see what we get. It's still going slower. Let's do this. Again, this is you know, we're trying to figure this all out. So again, we put Ballistol on here. Maybe I gotta get even more off. So it's only the slightest film on here. Alright. Remember, we were getting about 1.75 with a dry. So if we're not getting any more than that, then I did this all for nothing. Alright. Reset it. Here we go. Not enough to set it off. We'll go ahead and tuck that under there. And reset. Let's try it again. Nothing. Nothing. Alright. Let's wipe everything off. Alright, what I'm going to do now is attempt to do a coat of rem oil. Maybe Ballistol just sucks so bad that it just sucks. And it's not a good lubricant. So, I'm going to go ahead and put this rem oil that has moisture guard, and I think it has some Teflon in it if I'm not mistaken. It does feel slipperier than Ballistol for some reason. Alright. Definitely feels slipperier. So I'm not gonna put anything to dry on it. I want to see how it does just soaking wet out of curiosity, and then I'll go ahead and wipe it down. Okay, you can see, whoa, that thing took off. That took off the last second, so let's see what happens. Ready? Alright, let's go over with a dry now. To get all the excess off. I'll tell you what, this just feels slipperier than the Ballistol right off the bat. Alright, there we go. Not going to go at all. Oh no. Alright. Here we go. Maybe what we need to do is increase the angle to this whole thing and see if we get anything different. Well, it looks like the ramp of truth's a failure. So there you have it. The ramp of truth is a utter failure. So a lot of work went into this thing. A little bit of money went into it, and it is proved to do the opposite when you put lubricants on it. You put things like Ballistol or rem oil or I'm sure any other lubricant, it is going to slow things up, not speed things up. So I think it's important that this video be on YouTube because I know a lot of folks like to do testing just like me, and I could save a person or two a lot of time and money by demonstrating that this way of testing the slipperiness of lubricants does not work. No matter how elaborate you make it with timers and everything. I don't know what to say. I know a lot of you are looking forward to some sort of lubricant tests, so I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. It's not going to be right away because this kind of thing takes a lot of time and a little bit of money. And I do like to do other things like review guns and knives and things like that. It wouldn't hurt to get out and shoot every now and then. And I work on the side. My job as a sysadmin takes up most of my time. So we'll be bringing this back. And I think the way I'm going to do it is probably make something a little bit heavier on here. And at a predetermined angle, measure the amount of, well, I don't know. You know, measure the amount of force to move it. But, you know, weight is weight. So you're still going to get the same amount of weight. I don't know. But maybe pulling it up and then with a scale, like a luggage scale or something, sort of measure the amount of weight that's registering as you're pulling the weight up, and the introduction of friction here as you're doing it will add on to that weight on the scale or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to have to play with it and see what happens, but you know, don't get your hopes up. Now, one thing I did notice though was when I put the Ballistol on and when I put the rem oil on and when I was, you know, moving the paper up and down and the metal up and down, I could feel that the rem oil felt kind of smoother going up and down. So, but that, you know, feel is not a good way to bring you any kind of really good testing. So I'm not going to say that that's official, that one is better than the other. Absolutely not. And we already know that rem oil does not do a very good job of protecting against the weather, but it might be a little bit slicker than Ballistol, but that's not official. That's just my opinion on the way that it felt. So, sorry about that, folks. I really wanted this to work, and I wanted to be able to bring you some really good slippery testing, but it failed. Utter failure. That's what it's going to say. On the title, it's going to say Ramp of Truth. Oh, this way. Ramp of Truth. Fail. So thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and you. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend, a great Labor Day. And I hope you have a good evening. See you Friday. Take care. What are you doing? You swimming?